Hey, look at it. It's another Thursday night. June 1st, 2023. We are into June here at Relics Radio. Into June, Tony. What do you think?
June the 1st already?
Yeah.
Man, it means it's time for my yearly shower then. Jeez, already. It just sneaks up on you.
It does.
No, it's going by fast.
I'm waiting until September.
Yeah.
I got to conserve water.
It comes up fast, June the 1st. That's craziness.
Yeah, man. Shoot, how you doing, man? How's your week been?
Good, busy. We're getting rain down here like mad.
Yeah.
What about you?
Up here too. Yeah, I barely have had to water my my garden. You know, we're trying to get our garden established, and man, I barely had to water it. I think once or twice, just for a half an hour here and there, just to keep that ground a little moist. You know, you want it to dry out a little bit, but man, we've been getting hammered.
Yeah. We're moving the chickens around, but the grass, I'm not kidding, is knee high to the grass, not corn. The grass is knee high. We had to mow just so we could move the chickens, so we didn't lose chickens in the Amazon jungle out here. It's crazy. I couldn't believe it. We had to mow it. Actually, we mowed the halfway down and then went back through and had to double back on it because it was so tall. It's craziness.
If you're just joining us on Relics Radio, if you haven't listened to the show before, you know, you're probably seeing a lot of stuff in the chat regarding chickens. And, you know, Tony and I usually talk about chickens in the beginning of a metal detecting podcast. And you're probably wondering why. And you see all the comments coming in chat.
I can't. I'm still trying to.
People are used to it now. People are like, yeah, they're talking about chickens. So
talking about chickens.
Yeah. Ohio Relic Hunter says, those chicken farmers are a dirty lot. And then, of course, David Rose says, little peckers, too. Oh, ding, ding, ding. Ba-dum-bum.
Dirty.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to Relics Radio Thursday night. I'm Ken here from Adventures in Dirt. I got Tony with me from 528 Adventures. And tonight we have the president coming on with us a little bit later. The president will be here. That's right.
Uh-oh.
I want to say hello to some people. Bill Hayes, good to see you. Ohio Relic Hunter, thanks for joining us. David, Full Metal Digger Rose, good to see you. Last week's guest. If you missed last week, you missed it. Boy, I'm still reeling from that show. It was amazing.
I'm jealous of those prize packages we gave away, or that they gave away.
Right, they gave away.
Yeah.
4 of them, boy. 4 of them, just old ancient relics, man, from like, what was the oldest one? Like 82 AD was one of the oldest ones that they gave away.
Yeah.
All the way through the medieval period and the 1700s, 1600s, 1300s, like there was almost every decade represented, I tell you, and 4 lucky winners. We had Brian Yurden, you're digging it. He was a winner. Buckle Boy was a winner.
Mm-hmm.
Karen, she was a winner. And Robert was a winner. So
it was a good show.
It was a little difficult too. It wasn't difficult, but we ran the competition different.
A little bit different.
And it took some concentration and thinking on our part as hosts. Like normally we just do it, white noise, like we're just running through it. But we had to kind of concentrate a little bit and communicate a lot during that show.
I realized I would have failed. I would not have been able to win anything. And I'm one of the hosts here. I literally would not have gotten any of those right.
For people that are just listening in, remind them what they had to do last time.
Well, we went through the full interview. So we went probably an hour and 10 minutes of, how many days was it? 9 days metal detecting over in England and Germany with Mr. David Rose and then Tim Hildigger Blank. And you had to listen the entire time. And then we asked 4 questions about the interview that we just had. And they were not easy. It wasn't
not easy questions.
What time did we start the interview? No, it wasn't anything like that. It was like, what was it? The vegetables?
Yeah, like
what were
what word did David say after he used the first word red in the first 20 minutes of it? No,
No,
but
it had to do
it
with
was,
finds. It had to do with
yeah.
vegetables.
Yeah, David told a story of a dinner he had when he was over in England, a traditional British Christmas dinner that some hosts over there made up and fed to them. And he kind of went through the menu real quick and then went on to the story of why they did that and all this stuff. So he really glazed over the menu. And then at the very end of the show, we're asking you what two vegetables were served with the British traditional Christmas dinner that David had. And people were like,
people got it.
They did.
People got
took a little while, but yeah,
Yeah.
people got it. There was a lot of good guesses.
It was a good show, though.
Yeah.
Real good show.
Yeah, it was great. If you miss it, go back and take a listen to it last week. You really enjoy it. And I understand that the prizes are all out the door right now, so the lucky winners will be seen them very soon.
Good bunch of guys to send out those packages.
Yeah, very generous of them. And it wasn't just them, too. It was people on their trip over to Europe that heard they were going to be on the podcast and said, well, here, give this away, too. And here, give this away. And then contributed items. So hats off to all the people that went over there on that trip with David and Tim. Tell you what. Normally we would talk about Rush to the Rockies at the beginning of these shows because we have that hunt of ours coming up here in Colorado. But I think we're going to talk a little bit about it tonight with our guests. So
I think we know a guy that might know a little bit about it.
Right.
So
why don't we go ahead and bring him on?
All right. Well, we have we're blessed tonight to have the president of the Eureka Treasure Hunting Club in Lakewood, Colorado, Denver, Colorado. Always a friend to the show. He's also a co-host of American Digger Magazine's Relic Roundup on Monday nights. We have Mr. Jeff Lubert on with us tonight. Hey, Jeff, how's it going?
Ding, 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 ding.
Hey, how you guys doing tonight? It's another beautiful day in Colorado.
Yeah, Isn't look at us, all three of us in Colorado.
Yeah.
That's unique.
Well, hey, honestly, that's how we met, is through the club.
Yeah.
It is.
So, I mean, it is a great thing, and it's brought me many friends over the years, and
and we got like the whole metro area covered. We got south, north, and you're pretty much mid metro area, aren't you, Jeff?
Yeah. I'm a northern metropolitan area, but I'm still a few miles from the north side of town. So
we're covering Colorado pretty good.
Yeah, at least the Denver metro area. We'll give it that.
Absolutely. We got it.
That's one thing about Eureka. It actually is a treasure hunting club for Denver. There is a prospecting only club, and they do metal detect a bit there. But Eureka actually is, the name of it is Eureka Treasure Hunters Club.
Right.
And we do have prospectors, we have bottle diggers, we have, coin hunters, we have relic hunters, fossil hunters, all within the same club. So,
geologist.
Yep.
Yeah, geologist, man.
Right.
Years ago, we did actually look at changing the name of the club, but and then it starts going into, things that are set up with the state, taxes and realistically the club name, because we're registered as a non-profit organization, we would have to change all that. I mean, there's a ton of paperwork that goes involved in it, and we're debating on the vast majority are metal detectorists, yes. But we have so many people that do other things. We kept with Eureka Treasure Hunters Club.
Yeah. And it's been like that for a long time, right? Like
1973.
Shoot, 73. That, I swear
years?
that makes Eureka like one of the longest running metal detecting clubs that has stayed consistent and kind of held things together. That's a long time, man.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
A metal detecting club. No?
Yeah, and realistically, we're one of the bigger ones in the States too. I've talked with many presidents and other board members of other clubs in the country, and they have 40, 50, 60 members.
Which is good. Yeah, that's
which is an excellent body of people to draw from. Yeah. We have had at one meeting 110 people.
Yeah. And we have about 140 on the roster right now, something like that.
Yeah. We just got a roster update the other day. Yeah. I have not had a chance to go through it yet. It's one of those things. We've been getting takes time.
We've been getting a lot of new people in.
Yeah.
Have you been noticing that? I mean, it's been a
great.
Pretty good.
It's nice to
pretty
see
good little growth
faces.
spurt. You know why, don't you? It's those guys blabbing on Relic Roundup and Relics Radio.
Radio, exactly.
Trying to get the message out about how cool the community and the hobby is of metal detecting. That's what it's all about.
Well, and we're all active on Facebook and in Twitter and on, YouTube and all that. And that draws people in too. So
right.
there's a big difference.
Met a lot of people through Facebook, locally, local people. I'll post a link to one of my videos on YouTube. They find me on Facebook and they go over to YouTube and they leave me a message. They're like, "Oh my gosh, I just found you," and it's Longmont metal detectorist or something. It's like,
yeah,
that's just crazy. So cool though. Meet lots of people.
Yeah, you're running that group, Jeff, on Facebook and stuff. You've met some cool Colorado people through that, I'm sure.
Yeah. Actually, I'm admin on 1, 2, 3, I think 4 or 5, maybe 6 different metal detecting or historic related groups. So, I mean, Colorado metal detectorists. Let's see, ghost towns, Colorado ghost towns, metal detecting for beginners and beyond. Let's see, there's a couple others that I'm admin on. So
yeah, very active for sure. And once we all start spouting out there,
yeah,
you can't shut us up once we get going. But yeah, so president of Eureka Treasure Hunters Club in Denver, and this isn't the first time you've been president.
No, this is actually my 3rd term as president. I have never done them back to back. It seems like I've always do 2 years, and I'll take 2 years off of being president or whatever. And that's what happened before. I joined the club. I think it was either 1998 or maybe 99 at the latest. They actually had membership cards back in the day. Huh. I did find one from 1999. So
nice. When did you join?
I was either 98 or 99.
Yeah, that's a while ago.
Been in there for a while.
Right.
And at that point in time, they were actually begging people to be president, vice president, board members and all that. And so I was actually in the club for less than 6 months, and they asked me to be vice president.
It's tough, man. Those board positions, those officer positions are tough to find people that are willing to volunteer their time to do, even though, it's not as daunting as most people would think. But still, it is a challenge sometimes, right? To get people to fill those positions.
It can be. It definitely can be. Luckily, with our group, we actually have to have elections because we might have 4 board positions open. We might have 6 or 8 people that want to do it, or at least willing to do it. We'll put it that way, or at least willing to do it. And so that's not a bad problem. I mean, in the past, we actually had debates and stuff like that during the elections. And we literally had a Republican Democrat kind of thing, but I don't remember what we called ourselves, but
I remember.
This was like in the early 2000s.
Right. But when I joined, I was what am I at, 6 years maybe? When I joined, it was happening that year too. It was Alan Bravo and somebody else. And they were going up for the same position, and they were having just a lot of fun with it. Like they get up, they'd even smack talk a little bit of, each other, and if you're going to vote for him, total buddies, and they maybe even got together and planned the whole thing out as far as how they were going to razz each other.
Yep, have fun with it.
Yeah,
because clubs, that's what they're really truly about. They're about having fun. They're about growing your knowledge, meeting new people, and maybe getting out on some new adventures. Whether you're into gold panning or, you're into relic hunting or you're just new to the hobby in general, it's a place to meet people of like mind that maybe can teach you something. And, the trick is to meet up with those right people that teach you to do things properly.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's why we have the Breakfast Club, right?
Correct.
Breakfast Club meets twice a month?
Yes.
And
what is a breakfast club? Let's talk about that, because I want to talk a lot tonight about some of the things Eureka does. Just because either there's people out there that belong to other clubs that might hear something we do and they go, "Hey, that's a good idea. Maybe we should try to implement something like that in our club." Or, if people are listening here in Colorado and you're a detector, so you want to come along and meet a bunch of great people and join a club and partake in some of the things we're going to talk about tonight. So I want to talk a lot about the benefits of joining the club and all that stuff. So first, Breakfast Club. What's Breakfast Club? It was a great movie, but not at Eureka. It takes on a different meaning.
It's not detention. It's not a detention where we got to sit, look forward, don't talk. No, that's not it.
Definitely no Molly Ringwalds, that's for sure. No, Breakfast Club is a place where uh, someone from the group actually was our president, a former president that started this up. Um, and they meet at a place for breakfast like you're saying, twice a month. I think it's was it this? It's like the third Friday and the second Saturday of the month or something
Saturday, I
like
think,
that.
something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And they do that because there's some people that can't get out on weekends, and there's some people that can't, get out
Right.
during the weekdays. So they do it a couple different times, but it's a place for people to go out and they have breakfast, and they just kind of get that. They sit down with a gazetteer for Denver, and they look at parks, and go, let's go to this park, and they go out and they hit a park, and they just go out detecting together. And a lot of times there's new people that are new to the hobby that are trying to decide if they want to be part of the club or not. We just tell them to meet, with Breakfast Club, go out and learn the machine, meet some new people. We've gained a lot of members from doing that. And we've had some people that show up and that's all they want to do is do the Breakfast Club thing, and that's fine. It's not truly a club sponsored anything. I mean, it's not like they give out prizes or anything, but it's organized by Eureka, and it's put on, and they learn how to properly recover targets. They learn how to swing a machine. They know how to maybe clean items after they found, and maybe something about an item. Like you can look inside the ring and say, oh, see, it says 14, you know, KG, P, all right, or electroplated something. So they learn that electroplating isn't, it isn't solid gold, but it is electroplated, and that's fine. It's still a nice piece of jewelry kind of thing. So it's kind of it's something the club's been doing for years, and we've definitely gained members out of it.
Yeah, they're pretty successful doing that too. There's usually a couple rings get found every time they meet, and those then get turned in as finds of the month, which is another little program that Eureka has during the meetings.
Correct.
Yeah.
And and there's been items that have been found and returned through the Breakfast
Mm.
Club. There's been, people that come up and see a group out detecting, and they'll come up and say, "Hey, I've been interested in metal detecting. What's going on here?" And so
Yeah.
they tell them about, the Eureka and the Breakfast Club, and a lot of times, a lot of people that go to these breakfast clubs, at least the non-newbies, will have a spare detector or two in their car and get people out swinging that way. So,
Yep. I had people come up to me during a breakfast club and say, "Oh my gosh, I've been looking for an activity to get my son into or my grandson into, and this just looks like so much fun." And they'll ask for information, and some of those actually end up turning up and stuff. So yeah, and they send out a report kind of after everyone, kind of to the membership, kind of showing pictures of what people found and stuff. And so yeah, that breakfast club definitely fun. I like it for the beginners too, because they come, they can learn rules, they can learn, some jurisdictions in Colorado you only have to probe dig. Can you explain probe digging, Jeff?
well, probe digging is in some parks you're not allowed to use a digging u- utility tool, kind of like a spade or a lush digger or a hand digger. You're not allowed to use those. You have to either use a screwdriver and or a coin probe. A coin probe is nothing more than a long piece of brass, 4 to 6 inches long that has a handle on it, and you can probe down, feel the coin, move it around. You can enlarge a hole a little bit, reach down with your finger 3, 4 inches, and just pop that coin right on out of there. They do
Yeah.
bend because they're brass, but the reason they're made out of brass is they don't typically scar coins too badly. But I will say I have put a couple scrapes across, coin faces with my coin probe in the past.
Right.
It happens, but the reason,
Generally, we're not doing that in an area that's known to have extremely old,
No.
possibly valuable coins, right?
well, it doesn't have to be that old. A 1955, wheat penny, especially if you happen to have that double die,
Double die.
1972 double die, a 1931S, 1914D. Is that really?
1877 Indian head penny.
Yeah, I mean, the Denver Mint has made a lot of rare coins. 14D wheat cent, the 1916D mercury dime. That is a 37D three-legged buffalo nickel. So I mean, it doesn't have to be that old.
Them three-legged buffaloes, man.
Yeah.
Taking you to the bank.
So it's one of the things. If you're getting into metal detecting, you haven't done so yet, one of the best things you can do is go out there and snag and bag the red book. You know what? They're $15, I think, is what they cost.
Yeah.
But it gives you a lot of information on coins, or at least a ballpark figure of a value. So if you're out there digging and you find that, 1955, Jefferson nickel, is it worth anything? Not a ton, but it is probably the rarest of the Jefferson nickels out there.
Mm.
So, instead of it being a 7-cent nickel, it's maybe a 25-cent nickel, but it's those little things like that can, so
Doesn't
you
hurt.
found a silver dime. Yeah. Oh, you got your first mark. Great. All right. It's a 1944 or is it 1916? Was it 1931? Some a little bit better date. So,
I'm terrible
really
with
helps you
coins,
out.
man. Yeah. I have one too, and it just sits in my closet. I'm terrible with coins, man. I gotta bring everything home and research it,
Well, and you and Tony and myself, we like to relic hunt. That's
Yeah.
where our passion is.
Yeah.
When you're out relic hunting, you don't find many coins. Heck, I think I found maybe out relic hunting last year, maybe 3 coins all year.
Mm. Yeah, because of the areas we're hunting in, they're not known for coins. I mean, every now and then a gold coin, but
Yeah.
not really known for
Yeah.
for coins.
I've got one. How about you, Ken?
Yeah, I got one. Tony, you got one?
Don't-
Tony?
No, maybe not.
Tony?
Crickets.
Ah, man, we gotta get
Hey,
a bad time. Yeah.
maybe soon. I've got a trip coming up that it could potentially produce something. Fingers are crossed.
Fingers are
next
big
week,
time
couple
crossed,
weeks.
man. Yeah,
It's gonna be a sweet
looking
trip.
forward to hearing your report on that.
Yeah, it'll be good to hear some stuff.
Yeah.
I have a trip coming up as well. So
Yes, you do. My
Yes,
gosh.
you do.
How come I don't have a trip coming up?
Ken,
Jeez, come on, guys.
Ken.
Didn't you guys just go to England though? Come on.
Yeah, we
We
did.
did. Hey, I haven't really chatted with you, Jeff, since the last time you, me, and Tony went out. We went out digging together. Have you had a chance to go out since then? Jeff?
I don't recall.
Jeff?
It's been a long time. It might have bent my last time. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I've gone out and done a ring search or two since then. That's about it.
Yeah. We so I mean the three of us went out what was it, about maybe 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
I think is what it was. And we had come on Relics Radio and talked about a potential bottle dump. Well, we I have to tell
That place
you,
where Jeff found bottles.
Yeah, we made our way back out there.
Good.
And just absolutely crushed
Dude,
it.
you have no
Was
idea.
there bottles?
You would be amazed.
You would be amazed at what we found. You would be so amazed. You even want to tell him, Tony? You'd be so amazed at what we found, man. Do you want to let him in on it or what?
Yeah,
Well, he found 3.
Is the video out there?
He found
Did I
not
miss the
yet.
video?
He found 3.
right. Yeah,
We told the story, right? So maybe people are just listening and they don't know. You
Yeah.
want to tell the story?
Heck, I don't even know.
No, the story of Jeff's original 3.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So Jeff's coming up the side of a ravine. We're up high. He's down low. He just wanted to see if there was anything on the side of the ravine. Metal detector in hand. This is the last time we went out, and wasn't really getting any hits. So he's either got to walk all the way around the ravine or he can just walk up the side of the hill. So he starts to climb up the side of the hill, and it's pretty steep. So he puts his shovel into the dirt as a brace, as to pull himself up, and he hears chink, and he goes, "Oh!" And he reaches, rustles through the loose dirt, and up pops a medicine bottle, rectangle medicine bottle, probably 20s. He's like, "Well, if there's anything else in there," puts his shovel in, tink. Oh, well, there's another one in there. He pulls up 1 broken and 3 full medicine bottles, basically.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just amazing. And so Tony and I are wide-eyed, and we're like, we have got to get back there and tear the entire side of that hill up. And it was right near some bricks, too, right near the edge of the ravine. There was some
there's
like,
bricks
odd
and
bricks
concrete
placed
right
there.
there.
And concrete. So we're thinking, okay, well, this is where their bottle dump and garbage dump was.
Yeah.
And we just got to come back and tear it up. So this last weekend, Tony and I, and we talked about in Relics Radio, we were going to head back out there and hit that bottle dump. And holy cow, Tony, I'll let you take it. Absolutely.
Well, we detected a family member's property out there, and we were like, we had a couple hours left. We're like, let's just on our way out, let's just go stop by this potential bottle dump, and just we brought I had a milk crate. Ken had a box. We're like, we're just gonna load this thing up. So we went out there, walked over there, and went right down where you were. We've got our little garden. What
claws
are those things?
And shovels and spades, yeah.
Start digging away, right? Just moving earth like crazy. Guess how many bottles we found?
No. No.
We got the big goose egg. Not one. And we actually moved out.
Jeff?
We moved further out too. Like
we clawed half that mountain away.
Not another
Jeff, how does
bottle.
that happen? I've never seen that ever happen in my life. Jeff accidentally pops upon 3 bottles from the 20s, medicine bottles, beautiful, and just we were on our way home. We were on our way home. We didn't want to stay there. And that was the only 3 that was on that hillside.
That's impossible.
That's
impossible.
Jeff, we removed 3 feet gross of dirt.
Wow.
Probably 15 feet each side of where you were.
Yeah.
That's
that
not a
makes
can,
no sense.
Not a piece of garbage, not Tony found, what'd you find? You found
a couple tin cans and maybe a lid. Cans. But that was it. That was it.
Wow.
Could not believe it. I was really, really bummed.
Well, keep those 3 bottles in an honorable place then.
That's it.
Because some of the people
0.0.
And I gave those bottles to Tony because it was his permission.
Yeah,
they're in the case right here.
It's one of those things where I'm hunting with buddies, and it was his permission. And it's like, you know what? Heck, he deserves these. I think because he got us the permission.
One was a Listerine bottle, really cool looking, embossing on it and stuff. I love bottle digging, even if they're not valuable bottles or they're not 1800 bottles and things like that. I love just the history of it. I think I don't know if I told you guys a story, but when Ken and I had gone out bottle digging one other time, and I came home with a cobalt blue, I forgot the name of it. But anyways, I brought it. My grandma was living with us. We were taking care of her, and I brought that home. And right away, I walked in the door. She's like, "Tony, show me what you found." And so I start showing her the bottles and stuff. And she takes that blue one out and looks at it, and she just kind of looks up over her glasses, and I can just see things starting to go. And she goes, "I remember when I was a little girl, my mom had this type of bottle in the medicine cabinet, and it took her back to the 20s." And it just, I'm getting goosebumps just sharing that moment with my grandma.
Awesome.
So cool.
The bottle is worth absolutely nothing, but the last time, it's in my case over here, and I'll hang on to that for the rest of my life because that reminds me of my grandma. It was just amazing time, amazing story with her,
and the connection with her. You had that connection because of that bottle.
Yep.
With your grandma. That's
it was so cool.
Wow. It's
really, really cool. Yeah.
It's amazing. Jeff, ever tell you the story of that construction site I was on that gave me those bottles? So I'm currently building a job down in Cherry Creek, part of Denver. Big, 3rd and University type thing. So big downtown Cherry Creek area. And they demoed everything that was there on this city block. And they're building a giant office building on this city block, basically. And the construction trailer is actually a house that was still on site. And there was other little structures there and stuff. So anyways, I walked in for a meeting, and I'm walking by the project manager's desk. And on the back of his computer monitor, he's got a cobalt blue bottle. He's got an amber bottle and 2 clear bottles. And they're dirty. And I was like, cool, man. You like old bottles too? I collect them, and, I love them. And he's like, oh, we just found these out here in the yard. There was an old barn over there that we tore down before we started clearing dirt. And he said, there was just tons of bottles. And I go, really? I go, what'd you do with them? I'm like, well, we got a bunch of them back here in the cupboard. He goes, you want them? And I was like, yeah, let me take a look, So they did. They gave me a big old box of all these old bottles, and I've been researching them. And they're all from 1907 and 1913 is the spread between the bottles. And I was looking them up on eBay, and they're like $10, $12, $7. You know what I mean? But so cool, man, that these guys are like, hey, yeah, they're right over there in that cupboard. Go ahead and get them. And I was like, they said we threw a bunch of them away. Like we threw most of them away. And I was like, oh man.
Did you at least go walk the job site?
Well, the job site right now is all being built. So they dug a big hole in the ground because it's 2 floors underground.
Yeah.
So they had done all that. But where that house is, I told them what's going to happen to this house. He said they're eventually going to tear it down and level it. And I go, well, here's what I'm doing. And they said, yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Come on back. So they'll get all the construction stuff out of there and clear all that around. And then there'll be like a big area of cleared ground and then the house structure. And right before they tear it down, I'm going to see if we can all get in there and go swing over it and see what we can find.
See, and that's why, honestly, in my trunk of my car, I always have 2 hard hats, 2 safety vests in my trunk, so that if you get into a construction site, because usually construction sites require hard hats minimum.
Yep.
They require vests as well, and eye protection and proper footwear.
Right.
And eye protections can be nothing more than a pair of sunglasses or, just regular eyeglasses, and heck, footwear is footwear. Typically they want boots, but
yeah, it's important to carry that stuff, even if you're not in construction, just for that reason. Like I am in construction, so I do always have that stuff with me. But one time in Fort Collins, I was taking lunch. I drove over to this park, fairly new park, but it had like tennis courts and tons of volleyball courts and stuff. And I was just underneath a shade tree in my car having a lunch before I had to go back to work and kind of getting out in the nature a little bit. And they were tearing up a volleyball court and they were just ripping out. They were going to put new bunkers around it and stuff like that. They had orange construction fencing around it. So I went back to work, but I got out of work early and ran back over there, put on the hard hat, put on my construction vest, went inside the fence, and I'm like, hey, you guys you mind if I go metal detector around? They're like, hey, have at it, man. Cause I was like a construction guy, and they're like, have at it. So I was just in there for like an hour or two. And then all of a sudden these other guys showed, they left me inside the fence. And then these other guys came up, they didn't know who I was and they were picking up heavy equipment and they were just waving to me, hey man. And I was like, hey, had a hard hat on, vest on, I belong there, you know what I mean? So
yep. Right. Well, and that's all part of, the liability of the contractor is the safety of everyone that's on that site.
Yeah.
So that's why you're required to have the hard hat and the vest and
right.
all that. So you know what? If you don't have that, even if you have the best intentions in the world, they still have to protect their own hiney here, So
yeah,
good idea. Point there for your beginners. Carry a hard hat. Invest in your.
That's right.
That's right.
Hey, if you're following along in the live chat here, Ohio Relic Hunter said he also has the rest of the Village People's ensembles in his trunk. YMCA.
I do. Cop hat, leather vest.
Whoa!
Indian headdress. I've got them all.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. Of course, Ken's walking around in his loincloth.
Oh, no one wants to see that.
Nobody comes up and asks him if he found anything.
No, they don't at all.
They just leave him alone.
Like, look at that dude. He's in a loincloth and a policeman's hat. What's up with that? And nothing else.
Yeah, but he's got the construction belt. So he's got the construction belt.
He's fine. He's got
all three at once. Yeah.
I was going to mention the Garrett Carrot, but I think I'll leave that one alone.
Yeah.
That's theater of the mind right there, my friend.
Oops. I went there.
Yeah.
So Jeff, what's the hardest part about being president of a metal detecting club? What do you think some of the challenges you faced all the times you've been president?
It's always dealing with members that want to bend and break rules. You don't want to. You want your members to do things properly and well, and sometimes they don't. Yeah. That truly is, I think the biggest thing as far as, it's just dealing with those people that bend the rules and don't do things properly. It sucks that, I spend a lot of time doing things for the club because the detecting is a passion. Part of the passion is the club as well. So I spend a lot of time right now because we have our big national hunt coming up doing stuff for that hunt. And like I said, honestly, I think the last time I had a detector in my hand for detecting history was I was with you guys. I honestly think that was the last time because I spent the last couple weekends doing stuff for the club.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
So yeah. I mean, it's a give and take. Hopefully in the next couple weeks I'll have a chance to go out, but this weekend was looking good. Like I won't have much to do for the club this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But then you look at the weather and it's 50% chance of rain one day and 60% the next.
Yeah.
So
take your floaties.
We're getting a lot of rain for sure. We got waterproof detectors, though. We can be out in it.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I don't melt, and the detector won't melt either. So
you had a question come in. Go ahead, Tony, on that.
Yeah, digging the PNW, he said, Jeff, what do you think about the Deus 2 version 1.1 update? Have you downloaded that and used it yet?
I have not updated my Deus 2 yet. Okay. That, once again, requires
time.
Honestly,
fair enough.
Fair enough. Literally, we had a board meeting with the club last night. Went from 6:30 to 8:30, right? All right. After that, I had to get a bite to eat. So it's 9:30 by the time I'm done.
Yeah. And before the board meeting was a rush meeting the night before.
The night before that. Yeah. And then, well, after the board meeting last night, I actually spent another half hour on the phone with Nancy, which is our secretary.
Yeah.
And then I think I talked with my vice president for 20 minutes as well. So honestly, I didn't get to bed till after 11 because I was busy doing club stuff, and then I had to get a bite to eat. So
right.
It's busy.
It is a commitment for sure. And, but it takes all those positions to keep a club running like that, especially for 50 years. Do we have anybody in the club that's the original that was there in the beginning? I know of one, but do we have any?
One. There only the one right now, and that's Joe Johnston. His parents started the club. They were the
That's how amazing is that? That is really
incredible.
Cool.
And he stayed a member. I think he had a small lapse of time there where he didn't sign back up, and I don't know if he got signed up in the year that he didn't sign up. I know that it was well late into the year. It was like at least August that we're looking over. It's like, gosh, Joe hasn't signed up yet. So I don't remember if he ever did sign up that year or not.
He's involved in a couple other clubs as well.
He's in the prospecting club Jeff was talking about. He's the one that invited us out to do that presentation about metal detecting to the prospecting
to the prospectors. Yeah.
Yep. And it is just like, you and me as well. Metal detecting truly is a lifestyle that he is. I don't know if you've chosen it or if it chooses you, or, you try it and, that hook goes right through.
Yeah. Well, I think it used to be not as, out there, and things that have really helped is shows on cable, watching detectorist shows on TV, as well as YouTube exploding with metal detecting channels. Now it just seems like, the people that 20 years ago were just interested in history, and they're like, oh, this metal detecting thing, maybe I'll try that. And now it's, they're into the metal detecting, and then it explodes into researching about history and learning about the areas that you live in. I know when Ken and I started, it was amazing for the research that we did. All of a sudden it was like, hey, did you know that this store over on this street used to be the main stable for the road? And we're like, didn't have a clue. Just start snowballing from there.
Right.
You really learn a lot about where you live at.
And there are people out there in the world, believe it or not, Ken and Tony, that don't really care for history that much. They'd rather go out to the beach and go detecting. Isn't that crazy?
That as well.
Losers.
No. But honestly, I consider myself a relic hunter, but realistically, I am truly an opportunist detectorist.
There you go.
I mean, if I'm out, if I'm on the beaches down in the Bahamas or Belize or whatever, I detect the beaches. If I am back in Iowa, which is where I was born and raised, you know what? I'm trying to find the old parks. I'll go park hunting for, the old jewelry and coins.
Yeah.
Go to England. Obviously, you're going to go look for historical items. So.
Yep.
Really?
Yep. And sometimes you get permissions that are kind of a little bit of a drive. And so when you find yourself with an opportunity, you're like, well, do I want to make the drive, or should I just go hit a park? I just want to find something. I just want to find something old, and, I'll go try an old thing, or maybe go get a new permission, or go to Breakfast Club. Like last time I went to Breakfast Club, that was it. I was like, wow, I've got a day off on a Friday. And the Breakfast Club that week was on a Friday, and I never get a chance to go on the Fridays. But I had this unexpected day off, and I was like, what am I going to do? Like, I knew Tony was busy. I didn't know what you were up to. And I was like, well, I'm going to go to Breakfast Club. So I went to Breakfast Club and had a good time, found some stuff.
Some people,
they learned my machine a little more, you know what I mean? And
or in a different situation.
Right. A lot more trash there, kind of picking through stuff. So I haven't found any gold with that legend yet, but so those opportunities give you that kind of experience where you're like, yeah.
Well,
And we do, like, our club has a lot of park hunters, and probably more park hunters in our club, right? Than relic hunters,
else.
maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of people, though. A majority of them do want to go out relic hunting.
Yes.
The hard part with relic hunting, and I will say this, especially for you newbies out there that are listening, when you go out relic hunting, you have to be satisfied with 1, 2, maybe 3 to 4 good targets in a day.
If
you get a lot of junk. Yeah. I mean, Ken, you and I went to New York together. I told you if I had 1 or 2 good targets from that whole weekend, I'd be satisfied. I had a flat button and a bale seal. That was it. That was the only 2 targets I brought back.
Yep.
And for a weekend.
Yeah. For a weekend, right. Found a lot of targets, just 1 or 2 keepers.
Right.
I only had 2 keepers too. One of them was pretty good, but I had a flat button, and then I had 2 of those buttons. It was 2 buttons, It was a tomback button and then that cuff button. But same thing. 2 good items and a lot of iron, a lot of other stuff, and sometimes that's just the way it goes when you're relic hunting. Shoot, Tony and I got skunked the other day. Before we went bottle digging, we went out. I got skunked. Tony didn't get skunked, and we went to kind of a new permission and was feeling it out, kind of cherry picking a little bit because we have so many acreage to look for and so many interesting spots on that acreage.
That floral or that button, it wasn't floral. It was
some sort of. It was decorative,
scroll,
maybe
decorative.
Like scroll. That's a good way to describe it. Scroll, yeah.
That was a beautiful button.
That was the second target I pulled.
In the midst of a lot of junk and iron.
There's a lot of iron.
Yeah, we're in a really shitty, crappy area in that time.
I'll
we're gonna edit that out
post production. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But
live, don't worry.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Like me being an opportunity detectorist.
Yeah.
Because I will hunt parks. I will hunt, tailings piles. I will hunt, beaches and anything like that. I have had the ability in my travels to detect in 28 states, 1 U.S. territory, and 8 foreign countries.
Sweet, man.
So I get around.
And you're getting ready to go to England.
That's right. Yeah, my trip this fall in September is already paid for. Airfare has been paid for. Going to England for a few days.
And what number is that? How many times have you been over there?
That's a great question. At least 6.
Ooh.
Wow.
So
that's nice.
And I went over there once specifically on a metal detecting tour. The first time I ever went to England was a metal detecting tour for a week and then a week of touring after that. And then the other times I went, it was mainly for touring with metal detecting was a side.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. So I the first time I went to England, I literally detected only England. Then later on, I've been to Scotland 3 or 4 times and detected there. I've detected in Wales.
Ever been to Germany?
I have not yet.
I know.
Never made it to the mainland in Germany. Yeah.
He was on last week on the show. 2 of them.
Yeah. So.
So we had guys on that went to Germany. They were on last week and stuff. So
definitely a dream trip.
I definitely wants to go to Germany too. Hey, we got a caller calling in right now. Nancy is our secretary for Eureka Treasure Hunters Club, and we want to welcome her to the show.
Easy for you to say.
Nancy, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Nancy.
Hi, Ken. Hi, Tony. Hi, Jeff.
Hey, Nancy.
How are you tonight?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Oh, we're having a good time.
We're just chatting.
Chit-chatting about metal detecting. Yeah, believe it or not.
What
could be better?
What could be better?
Glad you called in. You've been a member of the club for quite a while as well.
Yeah, about 14 years or so.
Yeah. And how many of those years spent as an officer?
13.
13. So she in there for a year and then bam, right into the officer.
They nabbed her.
Once
her and held her hostage.
They got you in, Ken.
Dude, I'm telling you. Yeah.
That's one of the things actually about our club is you're supposed to be a member for a year before you're eligible to be a member of the board or an executive board member. That way they know that you want to be part of the club for sure. that they can trust you and rely on you. But hopefully you've learned, the rules of the club and follow our rules as well. So that's why you're supposed to be a member for a year before you're eligible for election.
Right.
It's a good thing to do it that way because you learn a lot in that first year.
Mm-hmm.
And we have had a lot of people that come in that are, the falling stars of the hobby. They come in, they're hot and they're heavy, and they're all about metal detecting. They want to do, they want to help out with our national hunt. They want to help out with everything under the sun, but then they're gone within 3 or 4 to 6 months.
Yep.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yep.
Yeah, it's easy in anything you do, I think, right? It's easy to kind of burn yourself out on volunteering and I've got some other stuff I'm involved in too, and I know that I came at it hard and heavy, just like that, Jeff, where I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this because my desire was there, but I didn't have the time to put in that much what I wanted to do. And once I realized it, in any organization, if you've got a lot to offer, generally they're going to accept it, because a lot of them need the help and really would like to have new energy in, and we do too.
And fresh ideas.
We get fresh ideas, new energy in that always helps the club grow. And when people just got to get stuck in a position that's a little difficult, like Nancy, you've been secretary for quite a while, and I know that you've talked about desires and maybe stepping down and have somebody else stepping in. That's hard to do, Nancy, right? It's hard to get somebody else to let go. One, because no one has the confidence to think they can do as good a job as you do, for sure.
Oh, no.
Well, that's what they think.
That.
Well, that's what they think, but it's tough, right? Like to get somebody to replace a position.
It like you were saying earlier, it's nice to have the new blood, the new ideas, new suggestions. You get burned out very easily, very quickly when you go at it hard and heavy.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
And one of the things, Nancy is Little Own's secretary, which is a very important part of the club. They keep track of pretty much everything that goes on in the club, from the bank accounts to, new members to,
Upcoming
rules
hunts.
upcoming hunts to rules that, like, we have a neighboring town. We just found out the other night that doesn't allow metal detecting unless you have a permit. That just came up during a board meeting, and she's keeping track of that kind of stuff.
That's important.
She also right now is literally the head of Rush to the Rockies 2023. So she's Little Own. Yeah, she is taken that bull by the horns and wrestling it to the ground.
And what people don't know is Rush to the Rockies 2023. We call it the Stampede, but that's really Nancy's role in the hunt. She is the Stampede. And
there's a lot of help to do this. I'm not the only one.
She is the Stampede. She is clearing the way. She is blazing the trails.
I heard that was a middle name. Yeah, so that
middle name.
Watch it, Tony.
Hey, speaking of Rush to the Rockies, maybe people have not heard us yapping and yelping about it. I can't believe that.
I know.
I mention it every Monday night.
Yep.
And I'm sure you guys mention it every Thursday.
We've talked about it. Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, Nancy.
Yes.
What's Rush to the Rockies?
Rush to the Rockies is a national open metal detecting event for people that want to have a good time in the mountains of Colorado.
That's right.
So if you've ever wanted to come out to Colorado and do some metal detecting, you know what? Yes, this is a seated hunt, but you would definitely get out there. You will be in the mountains for sure, because I think we start out at 9,500 feet is where we're at, if I remember right.
8,500, yeah.
It's 8,500? Okay.
Well, by the time you climb a couple of those hills, you might be higher, Jeff.
Well, luckily, we have learned from last year's event where we had one hunt field that went up a pretty good hill. And we learned that you know what, it was a little bit much for flatlanders. Hopefully that's not a derogatory term to some people that are listening. But you know what, we had people coming out from Florida and from the East Coast as well.
Yeah.
That steep hill, big long hill, was a little bit much for them. So
right.
We're definitely, we heard and the complaints and the suggestions, and we listened, and we're making adjustments so that we're not climbing that big hill.
When is Rush to the Rockies this year? I forgot.
July the 7th through the 9th.
7th to the 9th.
Yeah, of July.
Yeah. Right after the 4th of July break, we'll go right into it. So, yeah, if you want to come out to Rocky Mountains and have a good time and see, Jeff, Tony, Nancy, myself, a bunch of other great people from Eureka Treasure Hunters Club, come on out. I know that we have Tony's been posting some links in the chat there, and you can also find links to the hunt in the description right below this podcast. So if you happen to be catching the replay later, which we know a lot of you do, just go down the description of this podcast, click on the link. It'll give you all the information, but maybe some details. Jeff, what do you think? Or Nancy? We're going to have, 5 hunts over 2 days?
Yep. We have 3 hunts on Saturday, 2 hunts on Sunday.
Yeah.
There's a free kids hunt. And is the kids hunt on Saturday or Sunday, Miss Nancy?
Sunday.
It is Sunday. Okay. So, you know what? If you're coming out and you have, some kids that are 12 and under, or is it 11 under?
11 and under.
Okay. 11 and under, they can come out and participate in a free kids hunt. And there's all kinds of stuff in that kids hunt. Everything from prizes. Heck, last year, didn't we give away a detector during the kids hunt too?
Yeah.
2 of them.
2 of them.
2 of them.
We got another 2 to give away this year. So it's going to be
for a free hunt.
For a free hunt for the kids. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Not to mention all the fun stuff they're going to find.
Yeah. Oh man, last year, you remember it, Tony? Like I had so much fun watching that kids hunt. The look on their faces. I mean, even in your video you took with your drone, all the kids were looking up in disbelief at the drone and kind
I was
of
gonna say,
digging that.
I had more footage from the kids hunt than any other hunt just because it was so much fun. The looks on their faces when they would go down and find money or find tokens or find, there was so much stuff out on that jewelry.
Toys.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy.
Yeah. Just, they had such an incredible time. And for those kids to be able to win a detector for just themselves, they may not, they're borrowing their grandpa's detector right now. They could walk away with their own metal detector for themselves. So that's just, you can't beat that. What an amazing, amazing free hunt.
They had so much loot sitting in front of them.
We had one little girl that participated last year, and we did the kids hunt on Saturday morning, and we had a real time keeping her off the fields the rest of the 2 days because she wanted back out there to find stuff.
Right.
She had a great time, and she's coming back this year.
Oh,
good.
Good. Yeah, bring your kids on out. I tell you what, we prep for them and definitely treat them right. I tell you, the looks on their faces were great.
Yeah, they don't need a metal detector to find stuff out there, but they can borrow detectors from people. I mean, I think every kid that went out there last year had a detector with them.
Yeah.
So
some were towering a foot or two above their heads, and they were holding them kind of like a shovel. But yeah, it's just holding them straight up and down, trying to swing them. But they still had a good time. They were part of the event, part of everything, all the fun everyone else was having.
They were a highlight of the weekend.
Absolutely.
And we're doing a meet and greet too on Friday, right, Nancy?
Yes, we have a meet and greet on Friday, and I heard from some people that I'm working with that we're probably going to have some watermelon to share.
All right. And Jeff's going to sing.
Oh, yes.
And dance.
Highlight of the evening.
Village People.
He sings in Village People. You
Another
missed
Village
the comment
People
earlier.
reference.
That, yeah, you have to listen to the replay, Nancy. That was
and I'm going to ask you and Tony to dance.
Oh, there you go. See, now you're talking.
Can't leave you guys out.
You're cutting out. What? We'll have to bring in the Rockettes rhythm. We'll be doing the Rockettes kick. That's about as much dancing.
We're going to get the whole event to do the Rockettes kick. That's Tony and I's job. Right?
That'd be pretty funny. That'd be pretty cool.
So on Friday, when can they start coming up and signing up?
4:00 is when we open up for people to come join us. And like I said, we're going to have some watermelon and some good fellowship. Meet your friends, make some new friends, meet all of us, see what the hills look like. Hopefully help you to get a little bit situated to the altitude that's there. And then we start, registration will open again Saturday morning at 8:15, and first hunt is 9:30.
And then the fun begins.
And then it's running.
That's right. Yeah.
Running and gunning.
Yeah.
Running and gunning.
It goes quick. It's 2 full days of. You think it's 5 hunts. It's a lot of hunting. And it goes quick. I tell you what, it goes really quick.
Yeah,
I was supposed to link in the chat to take you to a video I put together for the rest of the Rockies this year, a little promo shot. So you can kind of see what happened last year and kind of hear what's going to be happening this year. And if you want to take a look at it, just looking down in the chat.
And I will say the reason we've decided years ago to do the 3 hunts on Saturday, 2 on Sunday is there's a lot of people from Colorado that are doing this hunt. A lot of them have to drive home, whether they're going to Kansas or southern Colorado or Nebraska or Utah. It's a 6 or 8 hour drive. And if they, can cut out by noon, which is about when we close up our hunt, you know what? They still have the chance to make it home that night.
Yeah. Yeah,
we actually have a lot of people. Like I said, we had people that flew in last year from Florida and from the East Coast, and they had to catch an airplane to get home.
Yeah. I always talk about like kids.
We have Tennessee, Florida, Wisconsin, Missouri, Kansas, Texas, California. I think there's an Oregon. Got a lot of people this year from different places.
Yeah, that always makes it great because then you get all these people that never met each other before coming together and, getting the eye of the chat. That was my favorite part last year, is walking around where everyone was sitting around and you had people from Oregon sitting with people from Kansas and people from Florida sitting with people from Colorado and kind of just mixing, and it was a lot of fun.
And I think that's a huge part of any metal detecting event you go to, whether it's a seated hunt, a natural hunt like DIV, or these other events that are out there that are similar, is meeting the people that your Facebook friends, because you have that same or that same passion. But to sit down and shake hands and literally have a burger together or a hot dog or whatever, it doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah. A lot of fun, even on the fields. Some people don't like to talk and they got their heads down. They don't want to do this because it's all about swinging fast and getting getting the good stuff. And other people just want to chat and they want to talk, and you're meeting them and you're both out there struggling on the side of the hillside, at 8,500 feet, and but you're all going through that together. And then it was just really great. And you know what even makes it, and we're so blessed. But what makes it even so great when you hold these events like this is when you have support from the leading manufacturers in the hobby. And this year, even more than last year, we have the support of some amazing sponsors this year. Everyone has just stepped up this year. We've got, Garrett always takes care of our club. We've got Nocta Detecting Technologies step up every year, take care of us. Great support this year. We got Mind Lab stepping up this year, coming to join us, supporting our hunt. Excalibur Shovels, Casey over there supporting our hunt. We've even got Dig Stock events coming up, showing up huge as a supporter this year for our club. We've got reached out to Kellyco. Kellyco's trying to put some stuff together for us and send it over for the event goers and stuff. And man, so many, even a lot of local suppliers, Railroad Museum, all kinds of different museums in the area giving out passes and stuff, and a lot of swag to be given away.
Great prizes.
Great prizes, yeah. Great token prizes, great door prizes. Last year was just insane, and this year it seems like we have even more manufacturer support and sponsorship. So thank you to all the sponsors out there that are gracious enough to see value in these events, especially, celebrating our 50th year this year for Eureka Treasure Hunters Club. Our Golden Jubilee, we really want to make it special this year, and the manufacturers are a big part of that. So thank you to our sponsors for sure.
Yeah, and that's one of the things. Nancy is a big part of the Rush to the Rockies, and we actually have a lot of volunteers that are literally, like, I am putting on one of the hunts, our Golden Jubilee, which is the last hunt of the event. It's our 50th anniversary, so you know what? There's going to be a lot of stuff, that are related to that, we'll say, as well. So yeah, but
Golden Jubilee, what could that be?
I don't know.
Cherries Jubilee? Are you going to?
It could be very
special.
Lots of desserts.
Jubilee?
Lots of desserts.
50 years, guys.
Yeah.
50 years. Isn't that amazing, Nancy, when you think about it? Like, keeping a club together and going, and all the commitment it takes from various individuals to keep that going. Pretty amazing, right?
It is very, very. I don't
Well,
think too many clubs can say they've been together quite that long.
Yeah.
I've definitely heard of a few in the U.S., but not many. And to say that we've been continuously going as well, because I know there have been some clubs out there that started about the same time, but they folded in for a couple of years, but then came back because, there's still that passion there from people.
Yeah.
We've been going pretty steadily ever since 1973. And I tell you what, when I joined in the late 90s, we were in some dire straits. We had a good roster of people, but our bank account was pilfered, we'll say. And we were actually asking people to pay their memberships early so we could pay bills. So now we have, we've had
Strong.
great meetings where we bring in a little money every month because it takes a fair amount of money to put our meetings on in a good location. We don't meet just like in a church basement or anything like that. We actually have projectors and sound systems and AV systems and a kitchen and storage and all that. So that actually takes a fair amount of money every year just to have that. Heck, our membership dues they might pay for that each year, but probably don't, for the amount that we actually have to spend to have our location. It's a beautiful location. Great parking.
Yeah.
Pretty centrally located in the metropolitan area. It's on the north end, but fairly easy access.
We're also pretty lucky that we are involved in the community. We do a lot of things. We work with schools, especially the elementary schools. We've been out to some of the local community centers and worked with taken persons from that are part of that out on detecting trips and taught them how to detect, donate detectors to them to help them out so they can have fun in the future. And we also we have a group of people that work with the local police departments as well. So we do a lot of community good, which we're very proud of.
Yeah.
And we have the one team, it's called the PERT, which is a physical evidence recovery team, what Nancy's talked about. And we've worked with police departments several times in the past, recovering evidence in crimes. And we have had the ability to go out and occasionally teach guys how to, the police departments, how to actually use a metal detector, because, you'll go out there and you'll look out and you'll see them they have Garrett machines, typically the CSI machines or some other Garretts, and they'll have that coil literally stuck into the back of the machine and draping down across the ground and then not even wrapped once around there, to teach them how to properly use those machines.
Right.
We also have another group that goes after and looks for historical artifacts for local museums and things like that. So Ken, you might know something about that.
Yeah, this year I'm the HART team leader, the historical artifact recovery team leader, and it's my job to go out and approach different museums, universities, and stuff like that might need help recovering artifacts and documenting. And usually when we do these jobs, everyone volunteers, and it's agreed upon that everything is given back to the place that has asked us to come out, or an arrangement's been made. I think one time they would let us take anything that was older than a certain date, and they wanted everything that was beyond that date or whatever. So it's just whatever the organization needs us to do, and however they want to do it.
It's kind of Is it so important to have that 1927 quarter when you're trying to find stuff from the late 1800s?
Right.
For their records, maybe not, but it's totally up to that organization.
But you usually get volunteers that come out. Right now I think we have quite a few members that have signed up to be on the HART team. But the hardcore people that usually come out and really give their time are people that are really interested in preserving the history and telling history and telling the story that hadn't been known before, for whatever reason. You know what I mean? We've had some epic projects before, and it's now my job to go out and see if we can drum up some more opportunities to help that. And
there's no scheduling to it. It could be that there's none this year and 6 next year. It could be there's 3 years without anything at all.
Right.
But you, Tony, and I have been on one of them together, and I made what I would consider one of my better finds I've ever made.
Yeah,
that is true.
And I had to give it up.
You did.
And that is true also.
Yeah, had a couple
That's
wins
tough.
on it.
Yeah. It said 1 cent on the back side of it. Had this bird flying across the front side of it.
Man,
Yeah,
1857?
I think it was 58.
Yeah.
A flying eagle scent. That's probably the only one I'm ever going to find in my life.
Yeah.
And it was in pretty darn good shape, but it's sitting somewhere in a shelf now. So
Right.
that was what we agreed to. That's what I did.
Yep.
I got to tell you, I'm not going to lie. I jumped up and I'm like, yes. I threw my gloves down. No.
What did you find, Jeff? Let us come
some
over
people
and
are running
look.
they're like, what'd you find? I was like, dang nabbit, it's a flying eagle. And I was happy and I was sad and I was happy and I was sad, but you know what? I got to find it. I got pictures of it.
Right.
There you go.
Hey, real quick, I got to make an announcement. For those of you out listening right now, we're doing something special tonight, something different than we normally do. And for most of you, it won't make a hill of beans. You won't care much about it. Normally, Tony and I, we do the show on Skype. We hook up with Skype. All of our guests are on Skype. And that's how we produce the show, is through Skype, through a mixer, through Spreaker, and out to you. Tonight, we decided to try Zoom. We're trying Zoom for the first time as our medium on serving the show out. So Copper Joe, if you happen to be listening, I saw you call in a couple times, but we're not on Skype tonight. So if you want to be, the only downside to doing it on Zoom is it's not as easy as calling a phone number if you want to join the show. So I'm looking for some brave souls. Anybody out there feel brave? Anybody out there would like a challenge? Tell you what, I am going to throw a link into the chat.
Here we go.
That link will bring you right into the show on your phone or your computer. If you have a camera, it'll bring you in on camera, because all of us are on camera right now that you're hearing here on the show. You don't have to accept that, but you can just come in on audio. And I'll tell you what, I'll grab another number from it. If you want to call into the show, you can go ahead and dial this number and call into the show. However, you will need the additional information that's coming along to you in the chat right now. You will need that meeting ID and the passcode as you call into the show during that number, and then it'll let you in that way. So feel free to call on in that way. Either click the link that I put in the chat or dial that number, put in the ID code and the passcode if you are brave. So hey Jeff, how this 3-day event, the Rush to the Rockies, what are we looking at for cost wise? What are we looking at? Are we looking at to come there, get all the events going on? I understand we're offering a lunch. There's all kinds of different things. What are the expenses like? What can people expect to pay for the Rush of the Rockies stuff? What do you think?
It would help if I unmuted myself. I pulled a butchie right there.
There you
go. Let's see. Nancy, we're going to go to you. We're going to default to you because it was $290.
It is $290.
Hold on, wait. Weren't we supposed to raise the prices, Miss Nancy?
We raised the prices.
But we talked about it and decided we were going to leave it like it was to help people out.
That's right.
Very cool.
Normally, after a certain date, we like to raise the prices because it's harder for us to get prizes and get silver and stuff for everybody. It definitely takes a whole lot more effort. But we decided this year because, you know what, inflation is going on everything else. We had to raise the prices to do the hunt this year, but we're not going to raise the price. Originally we planned it. We planned to jump up the prices at the beginning of the month, but not anymore. We actually discussed it the other night, and I'm going to keep it at $290.
Yeah. That's a great price.
Pretty reasonable
for 5 hunts. For 5 hunts over the 2 days.
And I've said this on my video. We tell it to everyone, and Dave, I'll get right to you. Thanks for calling in. We have Dave on the line with us. I have him muted right now, but I'll unmute him in a minute. I'll tell you what. He
just jumped.
He just
off.
jumped off. Try back
gave
there,
him the little rocker sign too, man.
What do we mean when we say all your fees go straight into the ground? Because that topic has come up on a few Facebook groups. And explain how that works, Jeff.
100% of those fees that we get from our participants goes into the ground. It buys silver. It buys, some hunts will have 2-cent pieces and 3-cent pieces, and V nickels and buffalo nickels and shield nickels. But all that fee, hunting fee, buys coins and or stuff, whether it's prizes or whatever. That all goes into the ground. So you literally, typically, I think what we've done in the past is anywhere from 110 to 115% of entry fees are in the ground, which means, let's just say we take in, let's just say, all right, our fee was $250. We had 100 people. That's $25,000. If we have $25,000 worth of fees that we brought in, that $25,000 goes in the ground. It's in the ground. You have a chance to find it back. And actually, we've done, like I said, 110 to 115%. Might have been as high as 118% of hunt fees went in the ground.
Yeah.
Because of all the donations and stuff we got, that then went in the ground with it. So.
Yeah, and we're lucky. We're lucky that we have a national 50-year-long club that is helping is actually putting on the hunt.
Right.
That means we do have the club funds that we can use for certain costs and stuff, upfront costs, to put on the event.
Upfront.
And then if we raise any money during the event with a fundraiser or anything like that, we can pay the club back with that. So we are lucky in that, that we're just not private individuals throwing this hunt. Hey, I want to welcome to the show, David. David, how are you? Go ahead and unmute yourself, and welcome to the show. I'll ask you to unmute it there, and you should see something pop up.
You should be able to unmute them too.
Lower left side. Yeah, I tried to. It all it allows me to do is ask him to unmute. So I am doing that. Okay. Lower left side, if you're on a computer, David, there's a microphone. Go ahead and click that. You should be crossed out.
There we go.
There you go.
There you go. Perfect.
Dave is with us.
How you doing, David?
Hey guys, it's crazy. It's a cacophony of voices. I can literally hear Ken talking 2 times.
Really? So it is. And you don't have the show on?
It's crazy that I can hear you talking 2 or 3 times about 5 seconds apart. It's crazy.
Yeah, usually that's because the show's on in the background or coming through the same speaker system. Is there a delay? Hi.
Hi,
David.
Hi.
Okay, hold on. Hold on. I figured it out. I had to turn off the podcast.
There you go. That's it.
Yeah,
there's a delay.
I'm sorry. I didn't think to turn off the podcast. So I was hearing it through Zoom and I was hearing it through the computer.
Right.
So we have that delay
on my cell phone and get it 3 times. I don't know.
There we go.
And
so
then
Dave, tell us about an event you've attended. Have you attended many hunts, organized events?
I went to a hunt in Germany, a seated hunt, and it was very interesting because they had German archaeologists come to give a presentation, and I didn't understand a thing they were saying, but the pictures were really cool. And so they had buried tokens up in this huge meadow, and the ground was hard as concrete. And so the idea was, and I didn't know this at the time, is just go as fast as you can and dig up as many tokens as you can. I didn't, when they gave the instructions, it was all in German. I didn't understand it. So I got to, I was up there just poking along, and, there were about 400 detectors on this hilltop, and I got a signal in somebody's plug, and I flipped the plug, and the signal was below the plug, and I dug down about another 4 inches, and I found a silver religious medallion from the 1600s.
Oh my goodness! It was a wild find or just a deeper plant?
It was a wild find, yeah.
Wow!
Yeah.
How cool is that?
And so actually, at that point, I think when the whole thing ended, I'd found like 8 tokens, and the winner had like 40 tokens. I don't know how they could gather that many, but there was a bit of controversy because they had buried 2 gold coins also, and apparently in opposite ends of the field, and the same guy found both of them. And my German friend said he didn't believe it. The guy went straight for one corner, found it, went back all the way over to the other corner and found the other one.
Well, was he up in the tree line with some binoculars watching him plant?
Yeah, I don't know.
Insider information.
Yeah, that's definitely was the feeling that the same guy out of 400 people would find both gold coins on opposite ends. So
yeah. We just shoot people like that here in Colorado.
Yeah, they're called claim jumpers.
That's right.
We let Nancy take care of them. She puts them under.
So how long of an event was this?
Thanks a lot, Ken.
What's that?
You're also the enforcer of our club, for sure.
What was the question?
Oh, I was wondering how long was this event?
We got there in the morning, and I'd say with the presentations and everything. We were out of there by about 2:00 or 3:00. But what was really neat is I got to meet a lot of detectorists. That's the thing. And a lot of them spoke English. And there was a guy there that was friends, not more of an acquaintance of my German friend. And he was from Trier. And as you know, Trier, or you may not know, is the oldest founded city in Europe. And that's in dispute, of course. But the Romans were there. There were 70,000 Romans living there in the 2nd century, and they did a street tear out in Trier, and he followed the trucks of dirt and got permission, and he said on the piles of dirt, and you know how they pile up the dirt, so you can only get a few inches penetration. He found over 300 Roman coins, and he
just
sold
following the dirt where they took it from the street, where they took it to.
And nice. I ended up buying 3 of them off of him for $5. So
wow,
good deal.
That's
heck
amazing.
Yeah.
That sounds like a dream. I mean, I couldn't even imagine that. Wow. Just wow.
Yeah.
I tell you though, I'd love to come to Colorado detecting. I really wish I could make this event coming up this summer, but it's just not going to work this year, but maybe next year.
Yeah. It's a fun one. We put on a lot of. It takes a lot of work, right, Nancy? Like organizing everyone and getting everyone to do their individual roles, and we have meetings once a month, and we're starting to do them a little more often now as we're getting closer. And it takes an army sometimes, doesn't it, Nancy?
Yes, it does.
And a good leader.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's
yes,
the
it
biggest
does.
Keeping us on track for sure.
And a good MC as well.
I don't know, man. I almost lost my voice last year yelling stuff out to that crowd. Even though we're in a little gazebo and stuff, and it keeps the sound on echoes the sound pretty good. It carries, but hopefully maybe we'll figure something out this year. We can get a little bit of amplification or something. We'll have to see. We're in a city park. We're in a city and county park. That's a mountain park, so it's not like a flatland city park. It's up in the mountains, a beautiful area in Conifer, Colorado. But it's still a park and therefore carries certain rules and regulations that we have to follow. That's always been a challenge to see how we put on a metal detecting event within some of the restrictions that they impose on us. But we follow it to a T. Nancy helps us follow it to a T. And because of that, we're invited back every year. So, people don't understand how all that stuff happens, right? Because they don't see the behind the scenes stuff. They see is they go there and what's being offered to them. But to get to that point, like we're a month away, guys. We're a month away.
Yeah, that's a scary thing.
Let that sit in.
Lots of work coming up.
I guess I need to fill out the application, send in the money, huh?
Yes, Tony, I'm watching for that.
I'll get you on this next meeting, I promise.
Right.
Okay.
But David, I want to get back to David quick here, though.
Yeah,
I'm still interested in this whole
in Germany
that he went to. How did you get involved in this particular event?
Well, I lived in Germany, and I had American detecting partners and German detecting partners. And normally on a Saturday, we'd go detecting. And they said, oh, no, we're going to this. I didn't even know we were going till we were actually in the car going. And so we got there, and I think I paid like a 20 or 40 euro entrance fee. I don't remember the fee, but it was just packed, and it was some farmer's meadow. It was out in the middle of the country, and it was up in the beautiful, they call them mountains, where Colorado, they're not Colorado mountains. They're more like the Smoky Mountains, that sort of thing. And so we were up there, and of course the scenery is beautiful, and it was just odd being around everybody. And I'd only been in country a few months. I didn't really speak any German at that time. So everyone had their little Riker mounts on their tailgates showing off their finds. And so it was like being in a museum, So it was really kind of cool. That's how I got involved.
Okay. Now, you said it was all about finding the tokens, but it wasn't also about finding the natural finds as well, since there was good stuff there? Or?
Well, what they did was, because they had the archaeologists there and everything, they gave everyone a plastic bag, a big, like a gallon Ziploc bag, and everything you found, if you dug it up, it had to go in that bag. Trash, good stuff, whatever. And you weren't allowed to combine. Like, there was a father and son team, and the father had put his tokens in his son's bag, and they got disqualified for that. And wow. Everything went in the pouch, and then it had your number on it, and then you turned it in, and then they counted the tokens, and then whoever had the most tokens won the first prize. The second most tokens won the second prize on down the line. Well, if they had about 390 prizes, I might have won, but because I didn't know how. I'd never done a seated hunt. These guys were zigzagging 100 miles an hour, and the tokens only been buried a couple days before, so the plugs were kind of loose. You could kick them open apparently, and it hadn't rained, and you could just pick up the tokens. I didn't even know really we were looking for tokens, and because it was all in German, and I would find these little tokens, and they were lead. They were little lead tokens that were homemade and had little numbers stamped on them.
So you'd hit a target, and you'd like circle around it, like pump your coil over it, and you would hit it on the edge and be like,
I'd pinpoint it. These guys were just knocking that dirt and grabbing it and throwing the plug back in the hole. And it was so dry that, it was just like digging dried concrete anyway. So the plugs didn't look too good. So then you started looking for where there were no plugs.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you want to kind of check. But I didn't know that. I was just going along, poking along. I had a good time, but I wasn't.
Tell us about that, Jeff. Tell us about that. Like, give us some tips for seated hunts. Not a lot of people.
There's strategy.
That it's a bit of a competition.
Well,
some people really get into it.
Seated hunts are really nothing but competition. As fast as you can move, as many targets as you recover, is truly the key to competition hunting, aka seated hunts. Literally, I tell people, and I've been our club champion competition hunter twice.
No, come on.
Come
on. I've been once, all. Jeff, I've been once. You've been twice. Okay. Yeah. Ken?
No, all right. If you're spending more than 30 seconds trying to recover a target, it's time to move on. Yeah. Because either it's not a planted target, or it's one that's on edge you can't find. All right, move on.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, I was in where were we, Nancy? Topeka, right?
Yes.
And watching some of these people competition hunt, it was, there are people that do nothing but competition hunting, and to watch them do that is truly awe-inspiring if you enjoy that kind of party. Because I was watching the ladies hunt, and some of the better ladies were doing 13 to 20 silver dimes in the ladies hunt. One lady, Teresa, phenomenal hunter, had 57 silver dimes and I forget, 7 tokens or something like that. It came down to the grand hunt for the overall thing. I think I had one token, literally one token that I found in that hunt. She had 4 of the prize or the primary or premium tokens, plus 7 regular tokens, and it's just that lady is amazing to watch someone competition hunt. It's a totally different
It is.
thing than going out and putzing around the park or going out in the fields and relic hunting. It's a totally different aspect of the hobby.
You can turn down your sensitivity because you don't
Yeah.
need to get deep. Shorten your rod. You don't
Shorten the
need
shaft.
the big swings and all that stuff, and you just
Have the
you gotta be able to
pinpointer in
swing
your hand.
fast and go and pinpoint it in your hand constantly.
Yep.
And just grab the targets because nothing's going to be deep usually on seeded
Yeah.
events. And
The good people I've seen at Topeka and the Garrett hunt earlier this year as well, they didn't have their pinpointer in their hand. They had their digging tool, and they go up there and pry that dirt open quick and pull the target out. I mean, it's just I need that pinpointer in my hand. I'm not gonna lie.
I've seen people with claw, when the targets are buried, just an inch or two under the ground in those type of hunts. They have their claw spades, you know what I mean? And they'll just go and just, because you can get close to it with your coil and just go after it and pick it up, dirt and all, and throw it in your pouch and keep going. You know what I mean?
Right.
And some people, they just, and some people, they enjoy just being there and being part of the event, which is totally fine too. And you're going to find stuff.
Yep. Just like David said, meeting those people, that is truly the whole. If you find stuff beyond meeting the people, that's the icing on the cake. But you're there for a competition hunt. You're hoping to find something. Kind of like when you go out relic hunting. You're hoping to find something, but there's no guarantee ever. Every once in a while, you get skunked. At a competition hunt, you shouldn't get skunked because they put stuff out there on purpose. It doesn't matter if it's a lead token or if it's silver dimes and quarters, $50, silver dollars, whatever. They're planting stuff out there on purpose. So you should be able to find something at a seeded hunt.
Yeah.
Not saying it's going to happen, but it could. I mean, because I've actually gone to a seeded hunt before. In one hunt, I actually got skunked. And that was right after I won our Koinuna, our club championship. So, I mean, I literally, within 2 months, went from being the club champion competition hunter to not finding a target in one of the competition hunts.
Right.
In another state. I won't even mention what state.
I've had a good time at different events. I haven't made it to the Garrett yet. I really want to make it out there with you guys one time. I know we have a big contingency that goes out there every year. Garrett always takes care of our club, and we always, in return, usually send a contingency out to the Garrett hunt and help take care of them as also. But
and that's
Nancy,
one of the things. Yeah.
We're getting towards the end here. Nancy, do you want to add anything more about Rush to the Rockies or the Eureka Treasure Hunters Club before we let you go?
Well, come out and join us in the Rockies. We'll show you a good time. We guarantee that part.
Yeah.
Amen to that.
It is a lot of fun.
Nancy's good at showing a good time.
Yep. Yep.
Stampede.
Nothing, Nancy? Stampede.
That's all I got to say. Stampede. Get out of her way, man. You don't want to be there. What's fun is it is quite stressful leading up to the event when you're part of the committee and you're part of the organizers. But I'll tell you what, when the event is going strong, and especially we get towards that last day, there's this glow I see come over Nancy where she's just so excited and so happy on how everything has turned out. It really makes it worth it. You're just like, man, we pulled that off, because it's a lot, the guys that do the big stock events, those are some big events, and I know it takes a village, and hopefully those guys got good people around them to help them plan that stuff. But
the key word is we.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the one thing, like the dig stock, that's a different ball game. They do a little seeded hunt, but not much. So they don't have to plant all the targets. They don't have to try and plan how to
secure the location.
That's what they do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What we have to do is we have to go out and buy all these targets, the silver dimes, the silver nickels, although the quarters, and that's a stressful time too because, yes, there are coin shops around, but they usually don't have the quantities that we need. That's where it literally takes a small team to even just get the targets that we need for this.
Yeah.
When we're all said and done, there is a happy exhaustion that is on everyone's face. You know what? You're exhausted because you've literally gone 3 or 4 days at almost 100% effort to try and get this event to go off well. Make sure that people are happy. If you have people like David coming from, wherever he's at, we want you to have a good time, David. We want you to go away with a bucket full of coins or targets or, prizes or whatever. We actually had the one guy, Mark, a couple years ago. Him and a bunch of crew came from Florida. When they went through the X-ray machine, they literally pulled their bags out and go, "What is in this bag?" Because we can't X-ray it. They pulled out literally the gallon Ziploc of coins. They're like, "Yeah, we just found all these." And they're like, "What?" And they told them about Rush the Rockies. Yeah. Well, they did. They found them.
Yeah, they did. They did. Absolutely.
And so, yeah. And so the guy's like, "What? Where did you get all this stuff?" And they told him about Rush the Rockies. And it's just one of those things. We want people to go away with a good batch of targets. And that's why I'm not hunting this year.
Yeah, if you're out there and you happen to be sitting on a cache of silver coins, silver dimes, and you're willing to part with them for reasonable prices, reach out to me. There might be an opportunity that we want to buy some more at some point. So go ahead and reach out to me or Jeff. Get a hold of Jeff Luber. You can find his phone number right down below in the description because he's also a sales rep for the History Seekers.
Yep.
And sales associate over there, and his phone number will be listed right below. David, you got anything more to add before we jump off of here? I really appreciate you calling in. And
we greatly appreciate your time, David.
No, I'm good. I've enjoyed the show, and I really like this format. I like to be able to see, and now I can picture Jeff, and he's got that cool coin hanging around his neck. Ken, I'm surprised you're not wearing your gold coin either on your forehead or around your neck.
Yeah.
We got to get a headband for him, just right in the middle there.
Right.
It's called the Cyclops.
It was nice listening to you, Jeff, and the guys. Take care. I'm
David. Thank you so much.
Thanks, David.
David, thanks, and thanks for last week too.
We'll see you Rush to the Rockies next year too.
Right. Perfect. Or Germany.
Ooh.
All right, Dave. Thanks, buddy.
Let's all go to Germany.
I like it.
Let's do that. I would love to go to Germany, especially after seeing all the pictures on David's phone.
Instead of Rush the Rockies, we'll have Dance to the Deutschland.
That works. That works.
Yeah.
Nancy, David was on our show last week. If you didn't follow with us last week, you got to go back and listen. If you're interested in hunting in Germany, that guy's got stories upon stories. Yeah. He's lived out there, hunted out there many, many times, and man, just some incredible trips out there. Unbelievable.
I have to check that out because I'd like to hear about that.
Yeah. Great show with him.
Absolutely. Jeff, what's going on with you? So we started talking about that. You're a sales associate for History Seekers.
Yep. All major brands.
Yeah. You've been selling detectors forever. How long have you been detecting? You got a lot of experience.
I've been around the block once or twice.
Yeah, a lot of experience. I think
I started detecting about 1980.
How many machines you got?
Does it really matter?
Well, it goes to the point of saying that you have experience using very
multiple machines,
multiple numbers of machines.
Yeah.
And so if you're looking for gear and equipment, and you end up calling Jeff, he's not going to just sell you something that he wants to sell you. He's going to ask you a lot of questions. He's going to talk to you a lot about.
I'm going to ask. I'm literally going to ask where you live, where you want to hunt, what type of hunting you want to do, what your budget is, because without those things, you can throw out all kinds of brand names, all kinds of models and all that, but it doesn't matter if that one model that someone loves doesn't work great there, or it's not specific to what you really want. If you want a gold machine, I'm going to sell you something different. If you want a relic machine, it's going to be something different than if you want a coin machine. I don't just sell machines to sell you a machine. I sell you something that's going to work for you in your location. And for what you want to do. So, but and I've been detecting for, what is it now? 43 years, 44 years, something like that. Mm-hmm. A long time. I've been a member of Eureka, like I said, since about 98 or 99. I've been either a executive board member or a board member, I think every year, but 1 year of that. Goodness sakes. Like I said, I've detected Northern Hemisphere, the Southern Hemisphere. Let's see. East Coast to West Coast. Yeah, I've been around.
Yeah, for sure. How can they reach you, Jeff?
Well, you can either give me a call at 303-618-5179. You could email me at coindigger, which is COINDIGR It's abbreviated. I thought it was going to fit on a license plate. It's one letter too many. Yeah. So it's abbreviated form of coin digger.
Right.
It's DIGR.
You can't do koi digger because then people think you're into kois.
Into fish.
Fish.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I've looked at doing it other ways to put it on a license plate, but it is what it is. You can find me on Facebook. Hopefully I get started up on YouTube this year. Maybe you guys can help me out in that phase or something, point me in the right direction. I'm just a baby in it anymore. I did videos several years ago, and my top video has, I think, 38,000 views. So I do have a small audience, but it's nothing quite like you guys, that's for sure.
What about your involvement over there with American Digger Magazine?
Oh yeah, that's right. I do that American Digger Magazine Relic Roundup thing every Monday night too.
Yeah,
it's right here on Spreaker, but it's on at 9:00 Eastern time, so 7:00 Mountain. But that's every Monday night. Been doing that for we are going on we're doing year 13 right now of
amazing
Relic Roundup, and I've been on it for 12.
Yeah,
or maybe I've been doing it for 13. It's been on for 14. It started in 2009. I came on in 2010.
Yeah, that's crazy. And you got a new co-host over there joining you guys, huh?
Oh yeah, we have a Sergeant Whitey on there.
There you go.
Sean Sherrill, great guy. He's one of those people that when you meet him, he's just probably one of the most easygoing gentlemen and consummate gentleman.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic guy, and you got Sergeant Pup too. So hard to beat that combo.
Right.
Let's see. How else can you reach me? You can go through Eureka. You can go to Eureka THC.org. You can click on some tabs there, read our newsletter. You can get the form for Rush to the Rockies. If you read the newsletter in there, there's contact information for me. It'll have my email address, my phone number in there as well. So yeah, check that out for sure.
Yeah.
And Facebook. I'm on Facebook too, believe it or not. So
right. Well, good, man. We appreciate you coming on. Nancy, any final words from you?
If you're in the Denver area, come and join us. Our Eureka Club meets the second Friday night of every month at the Clements Center in Lakewood. My information is in the newsletter as well, just like Jeff's. If I can help you with anything, answer questions, let me know. We'd love to have you.
Excellent.
And I've actually taken a couple people out hunting before, or if I couldn't do it, I let someone else. I find someone else to let someone go hunting. If they say, "Hey, I'm coming to Colorado for, this weekend, X weekend or whatever," and they contact us through the club, I'll try and find someone to get them out doing some detecting. So
yeah, that's awesome, Nancy. I want to thank you for calling in tonight too. We really appreciate your time. Tony, you got anything?
Just put out the video from last weekend. So if you guys want to go watch some metal detecting out here in Colorado, head over to 5280 Adventures on YouTube, and you can find me pretty much any social media. Just type in 5280 Adventures and
check out that button. Oof.
Yeah, you're not going to see many bottles in that video, but
no bottles,
nice button,
nice button.
It's some nice stuff. Some other stuff really cool.
One other thing, quick, hit that like button.
No, hey, thanks. Yeah, hit that like button up there, for sure. And what do you guys think? The Zoom thing. What do you think? It worked out pretty good. We'll see how it sounds.
I like the format.
See how it sounds
we'll have to see how it sounds on the
podcast is an audio thing, but it does add to something when we can see each other on here. And then Tony has been putting out the videos over there at 5280 Adventures, where he includes the video of us doing these podcasts. So, and Tim Hildigger earlier in the chat mentioned something that, if we continue to do this on Zoom, we might be able to even stream this on a YouTube channel in the future. I know Tony and I are working on a lot of changes here to the show, trying to implement some additional features and different things coming up. So you may see us test things out like this from time to time. Exciting things for sure. Yep.
A lot of exciting things. Yes.
Yeah. Anything else, guys?
Sure.
It was a good night. Thank you all for joining tonight.
Thanks for the invite. Much appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Yep. If you guys want to hang on till after the show, we can say our goodbyes after the show, but I'm going to go ahead and start winding us down. For those of you in the chat, thank you so much for following along tonight, asking your questions. I always like going back and reading through the chat that I may have missed something during the show. And for those of you listening live, and even those of you catching us on the replay later, we appreciate you being here and supporting Relics Radio, going on our sixth year. and loved having you here as part of this family, this community of metal detectors and treasure hunters. So we will talk to you again next Thursday. Looking forward to it. Until then, get out, find the good stuff, and best of luck to you. All right.